Good morning. It feels pretty good to be up here right now. It's a great honor to speak to all of you today. I think all the staff and administration and all the teachers deserve a huge thank you for all the hard work that they've put into making today as wonderful as it is. We've all worked hard, I think, to get to this point. I think there's something special about the culmination of achievement, of academic achievement and hard work. So for that, I congratulate you, graduates. Congratulations. Also, graduates, I'd also sincerely congratulate you on completing the easiest 4 years of your life. At least these last 4 years should be the easiest 4 years of your life, or else I would contend you're probably doing something wrong. Looking around at you, I think some of you probably agree with me, but some of you are a little bit in disbelief. Fair enough. So let's look at the facts. Graduates, you're 18 years old, fully competent individuals, yet you have no mouths to feed. You have no bills to pay, and your biggest problems most likely revolve around pencils and paper. These last 4 years haven't been that hard. That doesn't mean that we shouldn't celebrate them, but what it means is that we should strive towards greater things. So what's next then? It starts with us. Who are we and what are we willing to accomplish? Now, I've heard it said that there are three types of people. People who make it happen, people who watch it happen, and people who don't know what's happening. Newsflash, graduates, you're about to be thrust out into the real world and you have to make life happen. Don't let life happen to you. If life happens to you, you're going to be miserable because you'll know that you could have achieved so much more. But what does this look like? I can say to make life happen all I want, but if I really, unless I define my terms here, it doesn't really mean anything. So I just want to unpack that statement just a little bit today. I just have 4 quick things to say. Just 4 things, no big deal. So here they are. The first thing I want to say is simply a quote by a man named Kevin Burgess. What you do is not nearly as important as who you do it for. Are you doing what you do for yourself or for the one who gave himself for you? That's what matters. That's what determines the difference between success and failure. And here's the crux of it all. You can be a janitor for yourself or a janitor for Christ. You can be a politician for yourself or a politician for Christ. You can even be a pastor for Christ or a pastor for yourself. So let me pose you a question. Who is more successful? The miserable billionaire that is a slave to his riches, or the underpaid worker who is content and happy? I think most of you would probably say that the underpaid worker is more successful. But on the other hand, who is more successful? The billionaire who stewards his money well and uses it as a tool to worship God and help others, or the man who has the potential to do great things financially but squanders his talents because he's afraid to take risks? See, I've got news. Money, fame, and success, none of these things are evil. It's our heart that matters. It doesn't matter much what you do, but rather who you do it for. My next point may shock you. It's this: take risks. Let me explain to you exactly what I mean. There are 2 types of risks. The first type is a dumb risk, one with fleeting potential reward and potentially devastating consequences, such as riding without a seatbelt or texting while driving. I would not advise taking such a risk. However, there's a different type of risk. A risk that takes reason into account but is accompanied by a healthy degree of uncertainty and an unshakable trust in God. By this, I mean the type of risk Abraham took when he left everything to follow God. I mean the type of risk Joseph took when he chose to act honorably around Potiphar's wife when reason might have told him to do the exact opposite. I mean the risk Moses took when he mustered up enough courage to finally confront Pharaoh about the plight of his people. I mean the risk David took when he decided to fight a man who was 9 feet tall without a gun. I mean the risk Rahab took when she chose to harbor the Israelite spies. All of these great men and women were faced with one thing in common, one thing in particular: terrifying circumstances. And that is what I think a lot of people misunderstand about Christianity. Christianity is not safe, it's risky. Let me explain. Since we're not saved because of what we do, but rather saved because of what Jesus has already done for us, we now belong to him. Timothy Keller, in his book, The Reason for God, puts it this way: if I was saved by my good works, then there would be a limit to what God could ask of me or put me through. I would be like a taxpayer with rights. I would have done my duty, and now I would deserve a certain quality of life. But if I'm a sinner saved by sheer grace, then there's nothing that he cannot ask of me. From the outside, that might sound coercive, like a grinding obligation, but from the inside, the motivation is all joy. End quote. Following Christ is risky, but it's a joyful type of risk. Joyful because we know that our ultimate security lies not here, not in this world, but in Jesus. Now, we can talk this talk all we want, but can we live it out? We will be met with many obstacles and difficulties along the way. So this is where my third point comes in. And that's simply this: do not take the easy way out. The easy way never pays off in the end. In the future, you will be tempted towards laziness. You will be tempted towards the easy way out. Due to the increasingly socialistic trends of society and of this nation, you will often be penalized for doing the right thing. Laziness will be rewarded and hard work will be discouraged. That is incredibly frustrating. But if you live with a negative defeatist mentality, the system has gotten the better of you. There's always a temptation to blame shift. If only I were as intelligent as she is, or if only I were as financially secure as he is. That's the attitude of many in our nation. But what many don't realize is that they've been given a great gift. You have a brain. You have the ability to think. You live in the United States of America. No, life is not fair, but it's probably a lot fairer than you think it is. You reap what you sow. If you sow good hard work, you will reap good results. So put on your boots every day, some of you literally, some of you figuratively, and work hard. Live for Mondays. Live for Mondays, not Fridays. That's what made America great, and it's your job to keep it that way, because the truth is that you are about to step outside of these double doors, and the rest of your life will not be in your parents' hands. It will not be in your friends' hands. It will not be in your FCA teacher's hands, but in your hands. You've been given two great gifts: to A, have life, and 2, live in the United States of America. Do with those gifts what you wish. So I've got one more thing to say, and then I'll finish up. And that's this: take initiative. So let's take a look at history. Our country was founded on the encouraging principle that the government, and all others for that matter, cannot do something for you better than you can do it for yourself. Our nation was founded on initiative, people who realized that we all each individually have the potential to stand on our own 2 feet. We don't give ourselves enough credit. You have the ability and responsibility to reach out and take hold of your life, take hold of your career and success. Graduates, you have remarkable potential. What will you make of it? Will you waste it? Or will you put it to good use? Do you know why you have a car? Because Henry Ford decided to make cars available at low cost and high efficiency, and he did it. Why can we see around in this building right now? Because Thomas Edison brought us electricity, and he did it. Why do you have an iPhone? Because Steve Jobs had a goal, and he reached out, and he did it. There was lots of failure along the way, but there was also much perseverance. Realize that the future is up to you. So graduates, let's do just that. Let's persevere. Let's fulfill our potential. Join with me as we embark on a lifetime of pursuing goals and loving others along the way. FCA class of 2015, you have great potential. I'm confident God will do great things with us. In our class, we have someone who in his spare times saves lives fighting abortion. We have multiple musical geniuses. We have a student who succeeded on a position on his city's council, an 18-year-old politician. We have a student who distributed lunches to needy children in Lancaster for her senior project. We have basketball players and football players and great artists and public speakers and math whizzes and future missionaries and engineers and doctors and businessmen. We have potential, and we have already done great things. Join with me as we celebrate our past accomplishments and look forward to our future ones. Graduates, the future of your life and the future of this great country are in your hands. Thank you.